So I don't know what has been said.
This meeting is being recorded.
But I'm happy to be here with you this afternoon virtually to engage. For me, it's not a teaching session, it's an engagement session. So I'm expecting a lot of questions because out of that is where I can give you the kind of information you want. As it is now, I have a view of what I want to share with you. But at the end of the day, based on what you ask me, it will help for me to even give you more information or more knowledge for you to be able to apply. So, speaking on the topic career readiness for the future of work, this is how I want to approach it to say that this afternoon we're going to look at four key pillars. What is the future of work? We're saying career readiness for the future of work, right? So, what is that future of work that we want to prepare ourselves for? And then we look at the job landscape, and this would entail what requisite skill set is required for this landscape that we have currently. And once we've looked at that, we'll then look at how we can prepare ourselves to fit into this future of work. And then I'll end with a little teaser around what most recruiters look out for when they are hiring. So a recruiter here could be an organization. So it's not necessarily an individual. It could be an organization. It could be a church member. It could be your future line manager. It could be anybody. So what goes on through their mind when they are looking to hire people? My understanding is that some of you are still in school, whilst others have finished and they are looking for job opportunities. So I hope that at the end of the session, just going through these four key pillars, it will help position us for a great discussion as we go throughout the session. So as you see on the screen, there's a picture that says the future of work. And you can see a male figure in the center surrounded by what I call technology. And the future of work is going to be, or it is more technologically inclined than we know it to be. So let me paint a picture. Currently in Europe, in certain hospitals, or even in the Americas, in certain hospitals or hotels, when you go there, you don't see a human being. You are served by robots, right from the reception to your meals, in terms of ordering for food, the food being served to you, it's all done by robots. And that is a work environment, a hotel, a hospital. You go, you punch onto the machine, it'll speak back to you just to confirm what you're asking for, and then provide you with the right direction or service that you need. So just imagine that, and sitting here in Africa thinking that this is far from us. Believe you me, we are surrounded by robots, but we don't know. And I, as an HR person, I'm looking into the future where I would have to hire a robot just like I hire another human being to do a job. As I keep saying this, just picture it. Your next world of work, your future work, you might be sitting next to a robot doing your job. And also, COVID has made us kind of experience some semblance of the future of work, where you work from anywhere and you are switched on anywhere. And that's the future of work. You are called on anytime, anywhere to deliver. You might not need that brick and mortar physical building that you walk into every day. It will still be there, but there would be the option of either coming in or working from any location so far as you are delivering what you've been asked to do. So the future of work is going to be driven by technology heavily. Let me bring it home where I work. I work in a bank. Now, as a bank, we serve customers, we provide services to customers, financial services. They would normally walk into a branch of our bank and transact. We are getting into the future where most of our clients will have to sit into the comfort of their homes, offices, wherever they may be, churches, and transact without necessarily having to walk physically into a physical building. What this means is that in the future, there'll be less of physical buildings and branch network and more on online, on the go, on the beat transaction, where you're using either your mobile phone, your laptop, the various ATMs of various locations, the POSs in various shops. Okay, so the presence of a human being will become less and less effective. However, there will be that engine room, people behind the scenes who do the job. So in a bank, for instance, apart from us working in the branches, there is a whole department that takes care of every other thing. So you still have the finance department because we need to pay our bills, we need to pay employees. You still have the human resource, you have the operations, you would have the compliance, you have the back end that supports the engine that works. So this is just a picture of it. So this is not to say that as much as technology is taking over, the human aspect will be lost. We would always need people to work. So that is not changing. However, the dynamics of the workplace is what is going to change. And this is where you come in as potential employees who are coming to shape the future of Ghana and the world. So having this picture that I have painted, those who are studying finance, accounting, banking, I'm not saying that you not get a job. No, there are so many jobs available for you. All I'm saying is that you need to start reorienting your mind around the concept of the future of work. Okay. So having said this, every year, the World Economic Forum presents the topmost skills that they believe is required to change the economy and the world at large, okay? And this was predicted 5 years ago that by 2020, the year in which we are, this is the supply versus demand workforce skills. So you can see 4 key areas: digital skills, analytical skills, interpersonal skills, character and behavior skills. Now the broken orange line or amber line is showing you the supply, the demand that is being asked for. And specifically in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa and Ghana, you can see that the demand and there's a huge gap between the demand and the supply. There's so much demand for digital skills, analytical skills, interpersonal skills, character and behavior. I think the gap is more around the character and behavior and digital skills. The analytical skills, interpersonal skills, we are somewhere there. But the gap is between digital skills and character and behavioral skills. As you can see, the gap is so wide. Even globally, they are catching up. But sub-Saharan Africa and Ghana specifically, you could see that there's a wide gap. What this means is that if you are thinking of the future of work, you should be channeling your skills, your mind, your expertise in the area of digital skills and building the right character and behavior. And character and behavior is what I would term the soft skills that you require in the workplace. We can all attest to the fact that even here in Ghana currently, we are battling with what we call corruption, which is as a result of our character and behavior. And this is not about politicians, it's about each and every one of us, because society is the reflection of each and every one of what we do in our various homes. We take it to our offices, to the workplace, to the schools, to the churches. And that is what we see on our screens, in our environment. When you take a cab, that is what you see. It's the embodiment of what we do as individuals. So corruption is not a matter of just politicians. It affects all of us. And we are being told that there's a huge demand for people who have good character and behavior. And that alone is a skill that you need to build by being disciplined. Okay. So please Picture this, what you see on the screen. Keep this picture in your mind as we go along because it's interlinked. I've spoken to you about the future of work, the fact that it's technologically driven. The World Economic Forum has done research that shows that there's a skills gap in terms of digital skills, character, and behavior skills. As for analytical interpersonal skills, we are getting there. I think we've honed it enough. People have worked towards this, so we are getting there. But there's a huge gap. And digital skills is not just about your ability to do things digitally, like being on social media. It's your ability to actually use the computer or the laptop or your digital device to add value to the daily things that we do. So something that somebody would manually do with paper, you can digitally do the same thing. And as a result of that, you add value by saving cost of that paper, that printing that you do. I, for instance, committed to not using paper about 6 years ago when I used to work at Vodafone. We did a whole project on saving the earth and the use of paper. And I realized that you can do without paper. You always have your phone, and your phone has a functionality where you can write your notes. So I stopped using paper. Now I've even gone ahead to use my iPad that I can take notes with because I have an iPad pencil that helps me to write. So I've stopped using paper. It's a deliberate effort to build my digital capability. I'm learning to do things digitally and moving away from the traditional way of paper. This alone is added value. It's not everybody who has even thought about this. Okay. Now, given this, you would see that again, they listed 10 top skills of the future, the World Economic Forum again. The first was complex problem solving. And complexity we are surrounded by complexity every day. When COVID hit, it created an environment of complexity where we were looking at how can we continue working without getting infected. Staying at home and working, it wasn't easy, it was complex. Businesses had to turn things around quickly to be able to serve customers and still make money and pay people. Otherwise, people will be laid off. So we are surrounded by complexity, and COVID is still with us. It hasn't gone anywhere. And COVID is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that happen. There are risk factors that also create complexity. So how you are able to deal with complex problems. And please don't look at complexity in the work setting only. Even in your homes, whilst you study at school, you are faced with complex problems all the time. Sometimes how to even manage your time because some courses are clashing and they are all equally important. How do you manage it? Okay. And I've just given you a tip of an example, a practical example of some of the things you can demonstrate when we talk about your skills. So for instance, if you have 3 courses clashing and they are all equally important, the question you need to ask is, how am I able to maneuver this? Your ability to strategize and come up with a solution to deal with understanding all these 3 courses which happen concurrently alone will tell anybody who is hiring that you have that capability to analyze things and solution them. Okay, so that's one. The second one is critical thinking. So critical thinking is basically saying that when you are faced with an issue, you don't look at it just at face value. You critique and ask yourself, why, till you get to the very last why. A lot of people see 1 + 1 and say it's 2. In the work environment, sometimes 1 + 1 is equal to 3. And most of the time, only people who think critically will be able to analyze such things. So your ability to critically think through things and not just respond by how you feel would also take you places. It's a skill you need to build. Thirdly, creativity. And here, this is where they say, give me lemons and I'll make lemonade out of it. Your ability to turn bad situations into something positive. Just like plastic waste is all over us, around us, causing havoc, some people have taken the initiative to actually recycle and use the plastic waste to create all sorts of things. I've seen plastic bottles being used to create a Christmas tree. Some people have used that to create artwork, which is selling at very high prices. So this is creativity. You look at something that somebody would discard as nothing and you turn it into value added. That's your ability to create, to be creative. People management. Now, this is key. Before you can manage people, you need to learn to manage yourself. Okay? And you can only manage yourself when you know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And you polish that. And based on that, you can then manage yourself, your time, and extend that to others and help them also grow. People management is critical, not just in the workplace, everywhere, at home, at work, at school, wherever you find yourself. The ability to manage people to get things done. For instance, you are in a queue and there's chaos. Somebody has come to cross. Everybody's just shouting helter skelter. And you stand aside and say, oh, guys, can we have some order here? Okay, who came first? And then you put everybody together, you organize, and then the queue moves on. But if all of you are shouting, remember that you are going to move nowhere. So your ability to manage yourself and manage other people is critical for the future of work. 5, coordinating with others. So in a workplace, you cannot work in isolation. Same as at school. Sometimes you're put on project works and some people don't pull their weight. So it's either you take the bull by the horn and do the work by yourself, but you haven't been able to leverage on people's strengths. You've just gotten the job done. But most of the time, it's how you got the job done, which is more critical. So sometimes you can get the answer wrong, but how you got to getting the answer will give you more credit than just getting the answer right. So your ability to work with people, coordinate people to deliver is critical. Then emotional intelligence. I mean, knowing when to keep quiet and when to speak. Knowing when to respond and when to just listen. Your ability to emotionally connect with people is very critical in the workplace. If you don't do this well, it means you'll be fighting with everybody all the time and you cannot get any work done because everybody is as busy as you are. So you must learn to know when is the right time to move, right time to engage, right time to stay back, right time when somebody's having a bad day, give them the space to breathe, pardon them for some of the things they do and don't take it personal. And then judgment and decision making. Now there's that favorite saying that says that making a decision, a wrong decision, is better than no decision at all. So your ability to make a decision and hold yourself accountable for the pros and cons of the decision distinguishes you from your other colleague or the other person who is looking for a job. You know that you don't have the answers, but you need to make a decision. So you quickly think on your feet and make the decision. And you are ready to take the consequences that comes with it. Okay, accountability is key in decision making. Service orientation. So in ABSA, we say we are customer obsessed. Without the customer, there's no work. We don't have the work. So if you do all these things and you are not customer centric, you don't put yourself in the shoes of the person you are serving or you are working for, then you would be out of job. So if you're that kind of person who thinks about yourself alone and not the next person or the customer at hand, and remember the customer is not only for businesses, even in school, your teacher is your customer because your teacher is delivering something to you. You are looking for something from your teacher. So if you are not, presenting yourself well, the teacher can say, I've gone on strike. I don't have time for you people. I'm not going to teach you. Who is going to lose at the end of the day? It's you. So your ability to relate well with your teacher, to teach you, to give you the right information is key. So you need to put yourself in the shoes of the customer when you are working. Don't think about yourself. I've been asked to deliver 100 pieces of paper, so I'm doing that and that's it. What is that going to lead to? You should be asking yourself, who is going to receive this? How do I package it? You must be thinking and putting yourself in the shoes of the customer all the time. You should be customer centric. Negotiation, your ability to negotiate. If you're a yes sir person, you will suffer in life. Sometimes you need to read the situation and say, okay, my boss is asking me for this. I have choir practice at this time. Can I go and negotiate and say that because I have choir practice, I'm going to deliver this for you, but give me a couple of days more? Most people will not do that. They will suffer in silence, kill themselves to deliver, and rather make mistakes and deliver work that would not add value. Sometimes you just need to sit back, assess the environment, and negotiate to deliver better. And finally, cognitive flexibility. So some people, if they say I'm doing this, that's it, they will not change their mind. But we all know there's only a fool who does not change his mind. When you are going straight and you see that everybody is going left, and you can clearly see there's no way ahead of you, why would you continue to go straight and not turn right? You should be flexible enough to change your mind when situations are not going well, quickly make a decision and move on. I've spent so much time here because, as I keep saying, all these things are linked to the end result. There is no blueprint that says that if you have critical thinking and people management, you will succeed in life. No. All I'm trying to say is that you've been told that in the future, these are skills that are critical for success. So now you should be asking yourself, do I have this? Do I have that? Which one don't I have? What can I do to acquire the other? Because they are like two kills. You need them to be moving around all the time. However, that is not the end. If you have them, it's not the end. Because in life, there's something we call lifelong learning. There's never an end to learning, and things are changing all the time. As I said, we live in a complex and VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous world, which is changing all the time. And you need to continuously adjust. So knowing this, let's look at what the future looks like and why we need to be mindful of it, okay? So we've been told that most of entry-level roles, so if you're in university and you'll be coming out soon, and you'll be looking for entry-level roles into organizations, we are being told that most entry-level roles, about 70% of them, are being automated. What this means is that entry-level roles are disappearing. When I painted the future of work earlier, I told you that robots are now doing things that a receptionist used to do. And somebody will say, oh, this is not in Ghana yet. Ghana, we still need receptionists. Yes, we do. But don't limit yourself because you know we are in Ghana. What if you find yourself in an organization which will send you to a European country? And you are saying that because you prepared yourself for just Ghana, you miss out on the opportunity to go and work elsewhere in Europe because you are not prepared. So please, when you are thinking, you think locally, but you act globally. It's very critical. So if the Europeans are saying that entry-level roles are disappearing, ask yourself, so what should I be doing? What other things can I do? Again, we are being told that even in school, what you are being taught is not preparing you for the future of work. Most of the things you are being taught are things of the past. Okay? So, for instance, if you are studying accounting, that same accounting that was taught 70 years ago, the same method, the principle is the same, it hasn't changed. That is what you're still being taught. However, when you get into the world of work, you are faced with complex problems where the principle applies, but how you've been taught to apply it doesn't work. So what do? You need to challenge yourself. Take what is being taught, yes, but challenge yourself to try complex situations and see whether you can still apply what you've been taught. Yes, years ago, I did political science in Lagos. Notes that were being given were used in the 60s, in the 50s. They are the same notes that were given to us when we were in university in the 2000s. These are things of the past when we are focusing in the future. We've seen the things that are happening even in politics, in Europe, in Americas. The status quo is being challenged. So you see that what you were taught in school and the reality on the ground is not the same. So you need to equip yourself more, knowing the skills that is required of the future whilst you are being taught. So now undergrad is like having the basic. Once you have it, you need to build on that. So when you are being taught, you are also adding value to yourself by learning the things that is required, by challenging the one teaching you and asking complex questions that will get the class to think and broaden your understanding, by connecting with people. It's very, very important. Okay. So even in Australia, they have deliberately started teaching digital literacy from the nursery level, so that by the time you get to senior high, you are so equipped. And they started doing this 4 or 5 years ago because they knew where the future was going. And I know some of these things, they are government-led, but as an individual, you can also build your own capability without waiting for government to do that for you. Okay. Again, the demand for enterprise skills is on the high. You can see digital literacy, 212% is in demand. Critical thinking, 158%, creativity, 65%, presentation skills, 25%. And even with presentation skills, now we don't just do still presentations. Presentations are now being done in a video format. So even in presentation, you are seeing the continuous innovation and transformation around it. So in the past, some people do a presentation with a whole write-up. Others will do it with just bullet points. Now presentations have been done where you are video recorded. So they will video the presentation and just play it out for you and ask questions. And that's where we are getting to, even in the workplace now. When our leaders are communicating with us, they record videos and they share with us. It's the same message, but how they say it, watching them saying it, you even pick more from their body language than just what they are saying. So it's telling you how constantly the world is changing. If you haven't perfected your presentation skills, then you've even been left behind, because now we are going to video presentation. So you see how fast the world is moving. As you are catching up, it's moving. So you need to catch up fast. We are also being told that 50% of all employees in the world have to reskill for the needs of the future, because the things they knew are dated. They are in the past now. They need to reskill. They need to relearn the things of the future so that they can stay in their job. So even those who have a job, they are not secured. Otherwise, you'll be faced with situations where you are being made redundant because your skill set is not relevant for the current work that is being done. And maybe you've been trained, but still you can't apply because your mind is so fixed. As for you, said, this is how I know how to do it. So what people are saying, no, it will not work. This is how we're taught, and this is how it has to be. So in as much as you've been reoriented into the new or future ways of work and you are not adapting, then you might have to be let go. So in as much as you are now coming into the job market, those who are even in are still learning. How much more you who are now coming? You should be doing 150% of what they are already doing. Okay. Now you, as the future workforce, you are saying that about 91% of you are saying that you want to work with you say technology influences the choice of job you do. I'm not in your shoes now, but I'm sure you can explain better when you say that technology influences the job that you choose. Maybe you're trying to say that you prefer to work in a multinational like a Vodafone or a Unilever, or you prefer to work with a local organization which has the nuances of Ghana, which you understand, and therefore you can work in. 51% of you want to do freelancing. It means you want to work for yourself and have your own spare time to do whatever you want to do. 80% want to work with cutting edge technology. The question then is, have you built yourself well to be able to use the technology? 65% of children in primary schools today will work in jobs that don't exist. And this is also very critical. You're training as an accountant. You're training as an HR person. You finish school and there's nothing like an HR job. Although the practice of HR exists in an organization, there might be nothing like an HR job. It might be called something else. So how then do you adjust yourself to fit into the job? I'm talking to you now about things that were predicted 5 years ago, and it's happening. It means 5 years from now, some of the things you are talking about will be obsolete. So what this means is that you should be constantly researching. What I'm telling you today is not enough. It's just opening your mind to say, can you look further? Can you inquire more? Can you research more? So that you can prepare yourself. Then 90% of you prefer to choose their work location. So now that we work from home, in our organization, we say, we want you to deliver your numbers. We don't care where you deliver it. If you want to go and sit at the beach and still bring me my numbers, I have no problem. So that flexibility is what the young people are looking for in organizations. And organizations are aware of this. And remember, if they give you what you're asking for, be prepared to also put in as much as what they are demanding from you. So it's a hand go, hand come. You can't make all the demands and you come in and just relax. Then you will not last in the organizations. So given the picture of the future of work, we spent a lot of time here. And I hope what I've given you is helpful. Now I'm just going to give you some tips on how to survive in this future of work. Okay, so there are several, but I'm just going to focus on the first three. So for you to survive in this future of work, what you need is growth mindset. And I'll go into that in detail. Secondly, you need to continuously learn to upskill and develop new skills because new skills are coming up all the time. There's artificial intelligence, there's technological design, design thinking. There are different skills coming all the time. In our organization, we have defined what we call our future skills, and we are developing our employees, as I said, to remain relevant. Those who are able to catch on, fantastic. Those who are not able to catch on, nobody tells them. They realize that, hey, the time I better go and do my own business and enjoy my life. And nobody forces you, okay? And then thirdly, you need to connect and build a pool of professional networks. Because if you think you on your own can conquer it all, then you are being deceptive. You need to connect with people because in connecting, that is when you hear of things, you know of things, you're able to connect the dots and learn. Create a strong profile. So build a brand for yourself. This alone is a whole session for another time. Build a brand for yourself. Remember that when I showed you the demand and supply skills gap, there was a gap for what? Character and behavior. And that speaks to creating a strong profile for yourself, a strong brand for yourself. You should be known for something. If we mention David, we should know David for something. We should know David to be that punctual person who is the first to be in the meeting, who organizes the meeting, ensures that the notes or the summary actions are shared and people work with. That is what David is known for. So if I'm looking for somebody to organize a meeting for me, I know who to go to. So create a strong profile for yourself. And this speaks to the character and behavior bit. Also, volunteer for projects. So either an NGO, it could be at work, it could be at church, it could be with your family member, it could be with your old students association. Volunteer your services. There are so many clubs, Rotary Club, whatever. Volunteer your services. And as you do, you learn more when you do. And we'll get to that bit. So if you are good at just maybe writing notes, just volunteer your services to be a secretary and take notes. You will learn a lot because you'll be sitting in all the high-powered meetings and you'll be taking the notes and you'll be learning. You prepare yourself for the boardroom already. So your ability to volunteer and work on projects, church projects, whether it's children's service, whether it's ushering, whatever it is, volunteer yourself. Don't just be there. offer your services, and in doing so, serving people, you learn in the process. You connect, you build networks. And I've also said that the last resort is that if you feel all this is not helping you, then create your own. So create a self-employment for yourself. What am I good at? How can I make money out of it and enjoy it? Because I want to do something I'm passionate about, and then at the same time make money. So create your own job. If all this sounds too complex for you and demanding, create your own and work in your own environment. Rather hire people to do the job for you. Get to a point where you just relax and then they'll do the job for you. So that is like the last resort. It's not a bad thing to do. Some people have done it. You can give examples of the Oprah Winfrey's. You can give examples of, even here in Ghana, you have the Heal the World. You have, what's the name? The guy who does the shoes, Horseman Shoes. There are several people who have created their own businesses. So you can also do same. So now I'll focus on the first three: growth mindset, continuous learning, and building the professional network. Then we'll wrap up. I've been speaking for the past 30 minutes, so I'll try and speed it up so we'll have some time for Q&A. So growth mindset. We all know what a growth mindset and a fixed mindset is. I'm sure this is not the first time you are seeing this. All that we are saying is that somebody who has a fixed mindset is somebody who is set in their ways and does not like change. Anytime you mention change, they panic and therefore they will resist. They like to do things the way they know. They don't want to change it because they feel if you change it, it will lead to disaster. Somebody with the growth mindset is somebody who is always experimenting. They don't want to find quicker ways and better ways of doing things. So they don't mind taking chances. They take a lot of risk. And in life, if you want to be successful, you have to take risk. You can't play it safe all the time and think you'll be successful. Even look at investments. Those who get high returns are those who take the higher risk in investments. And that is so in life. If you don't take the risk, you don't go. So people who have growth mindset are open to new challenges. They are open to trying new things. Those with fixed mindsets are very comfortable where they are. And if you want to grow, you must move from your comfort zone. And that is where the growth mindset comes in. So anytime you do something that you haven't done before, you've grown. Anytime you put your hand, so this morning they were saying, who is going to introduce, they're calling Kezia. Somebody could have just put up their hand to do so. And I dove out my hat to you, Davis, for being bold enough to start this meeting, do the introduction. I loved your brief succinct prayer, straight to business. This is how you grow. You make a few mistakes, but you become perfect with time. Now, when we talk of growth mindset and agility, what we are saying is that, so I'm moving away from the fixed mindset because that is not the area we want to be. We want to be in the area of the growth mindset. And there are four key pillars where a leadership institution called Korn Ferry, they study leadership. They have researched and found out that there are four key pillars that defines a growth mindset. So somebody who is able to be mentally agile. And by here, what we are saying is that you see them sitting down quietly, but what they are doing is observing and connecting the dots. Being able, they are the people in the room who will not say much, but when they open their mouth to speak, you realize that all this while they were analyzing what you were saying and they've been able to perfectly connect the dots and summarize what you've said perfectly. Such people, their mental faculty is sharp and they are able to connect the dots and make sense. So they are comfortable dealing with complex issues. When they see chaos, they are not afraid. That's where they thrive because then they've seen that this is an opportunity to bring the chaos into order and to perfectly connect the dots to take you to a world where you haven't even thought of. Okay, so that's somebody with a mental agility. And here you can develop this skill by looking at things not at a face value, but critically. Somebody who is results oriented also has a growth mindset. And here we are saying you are inspiring yourself and others to superior performance under tough conditions. So COVID hit, you are still to go and sell. Businesses are not making profit. People are not working. How are they able to buy your things? You don't give up. You sit with your team, you strategize, and you encourage them. You show them the ropes, and they're able to go out there, even in the mix of the crisis, to still deliver. This is somebody who is results focused, will bring you your numbers, and is also agile in terms of quickly adapting to the situation. So they are optimistic. Although the situation looks gloomy, they are hopeful that they will bring their numbers, and true, they bring the numbers. Okay. Then change agility. These are people who drive experimentation, innovation, and continuous improvement. Okay. So they are curious. Their passion for ideas, new ways of doing things is so great. They are not afraid of change. The moment there's the opportunity to change, they are happy because they feel this is the opportunity to do things differently. And then people agility again. So you can see a link between these 4 key pillars and the 10 top future skills that I showed you earlier. Mental agility, results-oriented change, people agility is speaking about complexity. It's speaking about critical thinking, speaking of people management, collaboration, service focus, results driven, negotiating. They are all linked. And these 4 pillars defines who a leader is. If you are an individual and able to do these 4 things, you can easily lead people, and people will follow you without you even knowing. When you go to an occasion and they say, who can do that? Everybody will be pointing to you because they've seen you exhibit it. Okay. So that is the growth mindset. If you find yourself struggling in these areas, there are techniques, there are things that you can do to quickly learn. It all starts with you, the individual, not somebody sitting elsewhere. Now, learning and unlearning, this is just about your soft and your hard skills. And here we are talking about the character and the behavior skills that we spoke about. So your ability to communicate, your people skills, being proactive, leadership, and building your digital and analytical savviness. And then the hard skills is more about what you learn in school, the specific skills you are taught in school, your academic certification, the easy to define observable things that you do. You can call out that I'm a chartered accountant. You can call out that I'm a banking and finance student. Those are the hard skills. You have that. But in addition to that, you need the character and behavior to blend. You cannot have one and leave the other. They complement each other, both the hard and the soft skills. And if you don't have it, don't worry. You can always learn. It's never too late to pick up. Okay. And then finally, networking. So you don't want to be the gentleman sitting all by himself in the dark. You need to belong to the group. You could see that he's being called out, but he's thinking, me, oh, I don't belong here. No, we all belong and we need to connect. And there are several ways of connecting. I know people feel shy. They are even afraid to reach out to people. You can start with your friends. Okay, so from your friends, you move to your old students. From your old students association, you move to your church environment. From your church environment, you move to the workspace. The workspace, you can start with national service. You connect with people that you work with, and you build relationships. So I get this all the time when people inbox me in LinkedIn and say, I finished school, I'm looking for a job, please help me. I don't know you from anywhere. Before you can ask me for anything, you need to connect with me first. Know me. Don't read about me and think because I'm an HR person, I can get you a job. Who told you that? You need to connect first. And this is a lot, people make this mistake all the time. Don't be seen as somebody who wants. Be seen as somebody who wants to give off something before you want. So before you want, the person has already seen what you are giving off and will offer you than waiting for you to even ask. So please, there are several ways of connecting. And as you connect, so you're looking for a job, you haven't found a job. You've gone to study ACCA or you've done SEMA. In that professional body, connect to 1 or 2 people and just follow up with them, catch up with them every now and then. Let them know that, yes, you're looking for a job, but that shouldn't be the main thing you discuss. Let them just check up on them, find out how they're doing. And anytime they hear a vacancy, because you've mentioned it to them before, they will mention it to you. Oh, I saw this ad, we'll try it out. But if all you talk about is, hey, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a job, people will even run away from you. So learn to connect with people before you start asking for things. Utilize your social networks. There are so many people out there who are endowed with information that you can learn from. And in learning, you get the opportunity to work as well. So connect with people. So if you don't know anybody on LinkedIn, but you see a profile and you're intrigued by it, reach out to the person and say, I'm impressed by your profile and I want to connect with you. Don't say, please, I've seen your profile. I know you're an HR person, so please, I'm looking for a job. You'll be lucky to get a response. As for me, I'm polite, so I'll give you feedback and say, oh, next time do it this way. But it's not everybody who will have that luxury of time for you. So please resist from such form of attack on social media. Utilize it to connect and build your profile. I've told you about building a strong profile. And then create networks from groups, clubs, and common interest. So I know some people who like baking. So they connect with other fellows who like baking. And then from there, you form the group. From that group, you connect to other people who like something else. And that is how the circle goes. So if you're that person who, I'm looking for a job and that's all I do, then believe you me, it will take you a while. Even if you find something, it will not last. So you need to learn how to connect with people, learn how to grow your network because all it takes is one person telling the other and the other telling the other. Those who are not in any clubs, you can join the Rotary, you can join all those other social clubs out there doing social good. Volunteer your service and you grow as a result of that. Okay. So I said I was mentioning these 3 key things. The last bit of my discussion, and then I'll close off, is how to get career ready. Knowing you've seen the future of work, you've seen the skills required. I've given you some tips on how to get some of these skills. Now, how do you get ready? First, you need to start with your self-assessment. Look at yourself today and ask yourself, where am I today? I'm a student, I'm in final year. I'm very good at economics. That's all I know. However, when I come home, I help my mother and my siblings at home because my mom can trust me to manage my home when she's away. I can take care of my siblings and ensure that the food is enough for everybody. So I have some organizational skills. Okay. So you need to do some self-introspection. Who am I? Where am I today? That is the present. What do I have today? Now, the second thing you need to ask yourself is, what is my aspiration? What do I want to be? Some people know, others don't know. But if you know, write it down. If you don't know to write it down, I don't know. Then thirdly, ask yourself, what is required to help me get to the unknown or help me to get to where I want to go? These 3 things, do them holistically. And believe you me, it will give you some direction on which path to take into the future of the unknown, where the possibilities are endless. Okay? Now, how do you do these simple steps? There are simple questions you need to ask yourself. These are the questions. What is your current state? Do you know your current state? Do you know what your strengths are? So if, just like I did with Davis, David is known as the one who is well organized. So David is the one who is able to take notes and share action plans. David is the one who is good at the presentation. You should be known for something, and that is your key strength. There's something you can do with ease without being stressed. Somebody is good at being analytical. You give them data, they'll be able to analyze it and come up with some graphs, which is telling the story of the same data. Somebody is good at customer service. They are excellent with managing people. Their relationship is top notch. So you know that that is your skill. It's your key strength. Even in your sleep, when they call you, you give top notch service. And then what are the areas that you have gaps? So somebody say, I don't know how to communicate. I'm very shy. Note them down, write them down. So you've identified what you are good at, you are very strong in, and you've identified what you need help with. The next thing will be, where do you want to go? So do you know what your ambition is? And as I said, it's okay if you don't know. You just need to ask for help and you'll be guided. So if you know what it is, write it down. And in writing it down, ask yourself, within the shortest time, what is that ambition? Within the longest time, what is the ambition? So maybe because you've just finished university, you're telling yourself, in the next year, I just want a job. That is your ambition. That's the next year. But in the next 5 years, I want to be a manager of, say, a branch, for instance. Or I want to be managing people. So you have the short term, which is I want a job, and then the long term, which is I want to be a manager. Now, once you've written this down and you know what your strengths are, you then have to start asking yourself, what do I need to do to get to that job that I want? So what is the role in achieving this goal? What do I have to do to get a job? I've given you some tips. I need to network. I need to continue to learn. I need to change my mindset and build a growth mindset. I need to build a strong personality or personal profile for myself. I need to have my own brand so I can stand out. So those are some of the things you have to do. In some instances, you need to get the services of a coach or a mentor to help you walk through this journey because it's not an easy one. Some people, it's easy for them to identify. For those who is not, you need to employ the services of an expert to walk you through it, just so you find your feet, okay? So if you need help, just shout. Once you're able to do these 3 things, identify all the things that you need to do. So I want a job. It means I have to connect more. I have to change my mindset. Every opportunity, I look at finding a way to make my voice heard. Then I'll be known that, hey, although this lady, she doesn't work, she volunteers her service, she's serviceable. When you give her work to, she does. My friend is looking for a person, I'll recommend her. Without you even knowing, you're there and then you are called. Then you ask yourself, who gave you my service? Oh, somebody at so and so mentioned. Then you are in awe. It's because your character and behavior, that thing which is rare, you are exhibiting it. And that is opening doors for you. Okay. So once you're able to write the steps down and follow through, you'll be able to achieve it. And remember that in doing this and in closing the gaps that you have, I missed this slide that I want to go back to. There's something we call the 70-20-10 model in practice. Here we are saying that as you try to bridge the gap or as you try to learn, 70% you learn by doing. Okay, so if you say that I'm shy, I want to improve on my communication skills. You have to do to be able to improve. Just going to a communication class will not help you improve your communication skills. It's not enough. It's only 10% of learning how to communicate that can be done formally in the classroom through online learning or paying somebody to teach you. The best form of closing that gap is by doing. So if you know you're shy, it means anytime you find yourself in an environment and say, can somebody pray? Then you put up your hand. Then you pray. The first attempt, you see that it didn't go too well. Next time you do it, you realize that you're getting better. By the third time, you are there. So most of the things you don't know, to be able to learn how to do them, you have to do it in practice. So find opportunities and don't say that I haven't gotten a job, so how can I practice? Even at home, helping your siblings with their work, directing them how to do things, supporting them, helping your parents. It's all an opportunity. Your parents send you, you do your list, you go, you buy the things, you come back with the balance. accurate. This is how you build the skills that you're looking for. At church, you volunteer to do things. You're ushering, or you're part of the finance team. You help to count the money. You do the balancing. You are doing, so you are learning. It's okay, write the report. Then you write report, they correct you, you learn. And the next time you get it right, you do it without any correction. Find opportunities to put into practice where you need to build a skill. And then there are 20% where you have to learn from those who have already learned. And that is where you employ the services of a mentor. So you reach out to people who you know have done the thing that you are looking for. And then you ask them, how did you do it? Then they'll tell you their story. They are not telling you their story to go and do the same thing. They are telling you their story to encourage you to also look at things differently so that you'll be able to apply. Believe you me, if you are able to apply this principle of training or developing yourself, and these are things we wish we knew years before we started working. But here you are getting it for free. So take advantage and start utilizing it, okay? So once you've done this, my dear, you have done 80% of the job. Now, when you meet a recruiter, somebody who is looking to hire, these are the 3 things they are looking for. They are asking themselves, this person I'm speaking to, can they do the job? What this means is that, do they have the technical ability to do the job? Do they have the skill to do the job? That is ticked. Second question they'll ask is, will they do the job? And here's about the attitude. And this is where the character and behavior comes in. Will they do the job? You see some people come in thinking, I know even more than the one hiring me. And with such attitude, the recruiter will not pick you. So the character and behavior is critical here to define the attitude. And then finally, will they fit into the work environment? So wherever I want them to come and work, with what I've seen so far about them, will they be able to fit? Were all the examples about me, or were they showing that they're able to collaborate and work in teams? Are they able to work in a fast-paced environment? So this is the 3 key things that goes through the mind of a recruiter. So if you've built all the skills and your attitude is a problem, they know that you not get the job. Or even if you get the job, you not last. If you have built all the skills and you're ready for the future of work, however, your mind is not settled on the culture of where you're going to work, the environment, you will not last. It's just like saying somebody has a strong belief, is a Christian, and is working in an organization that produces alcohol. Because they are looking for a job, that was their short-term plan, they'll go for the job. But when they start doing the job, they realize that their principles and the job does not match. So you realize that they will not last and they will leave without even being sacked. So culture fit is key. So can you do the job, the technical skill? Will you do the job, the attitude, and will you fit into the environment, the culture of the organization? These 3 key things are top priority of the mind of anybody who is looking to hire. So when you are engaging, also be bouncing yourself through some of the questions that will speak to these 3 things. If you're able to address them, then know that you are 50% halfway through the door. Okay. So on that note, I would like to end by saying that the future of work is exciting. How you get yourself ready is building the right skill set and mindset to be able to survive. However, career is not a sprint. It's not an event that you start and finish. It's a marathon. It's lifelong. Some people will start in an area where they want to build forever. Others will start and change 3 or 4 times before they find their feet in terms of the career they want to progress in. Just run your own race. The reality is that we live in a VUCA world, so you have to quickly learn to adapt and change when things are not going the way you want to. Quickly change it and move in the right direction. Don't stay and wallow in it whilst time is passing you by. Also remember that the reality is that there is no longer job for life. You can have a job today and tomorrow that job will be made redundant. As I said, the future of work, things are changing. So if you don't continuously learn, you'll be made redundant. Okay, so continuously learn. I've seen people who have had a job just for a year right after school and they were made to let go because that work is obsolete now. So you have to continuously learn. There's no longer a job for life. If you don't continuously learn, you'll be left out. And then finally, as young graduates, lots of doors will be shut in your face. They will close several doors. You go and knock, they close, bam, bam, bam. All I want to tell you is that don't give up. You just need to reach out to the right people who would connect and guide you in terms of coaching and mentoring. And believe you me, when one door closes, another door will also open for you. Thank you very much. I will pause here for questions.
Read out the questions. If you have a question, you could put your hand up too, so you'd be called by the host. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Anne, for the reading of the profile of Mrs. Barbara Annor. Okay, so I have Georgina Obeng. Please, if you could also type in your questions in the chat box, it will really be of help to us. Thank you once again, Madam, for this wonderful well of insight.
Please ask my.
Okay, so from Ifwa Owusuwa Ampofu, she says, please, how do you suggest you manage our time if you want to undertake online courses while studying? Hello,
Okay.
Mrs. Barbara Annor.
Yeah, you had to unmute me because I didn't have control. I hope you can hear me now. So time management, I mean, there is a philosophy on handling time management. It's basically to say that you need to prioritize. If you are studying. So when I was in university, it wasn't Monday to Friday. There are days that I'm free. My schedule is free. So Monday to Friday, I know that on Tuesdays, I don't have any lectures. Or on Tuesday, I only have one lecture. So it's a matter of prioritizing and saying that how do I utilize that day that I'm not doing much? So assuming the online learning is your individual course that you signed on to, there are two things. So you have a course that you are doing, or you are doing another online learning from another university, meaning that you're combining two academics at the same time, which will be tough. But if it's just a short course you are learning, like how to Excel or analytics, data analytics or design thinking, that is a short course. And normally these short courses is either 1 hour session or some of them at most 2 hours. Something like this, the days that your calendar is free in terms of schoolwork, that's when you schedule to do those courses. So it's a matter of prioritizing, knowing, because you can't compromise on your schoolwork. So as for the schoolwork, you prioritize it, but then within the week, when are days that is free for me, that I can push these online courses to build my capability, my personal development. So these are things you are going the extra mile to do. It's just like booking time to say, I'm going to sit in BAM library or whichever library there is in Ghana to learn. You must schedule time for that. And you make sure that both don't clash. I don't know if I've helped you. Was in Nanaifwa?
Yes, please. It was Ifwa Ampofu.
Awesome.
Okay, so next will be Georgina Obeng. Georgina, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I want to ask that I've heard when you are going for an interview, aside the questions that will be asked, you might be told to do some tests or certain activities to test you before you are told whether you got the job or not. I want to know if this is true. If so, what are some examples of what you may be asked to do?
Thank you, Georgina. What you're saying is spot on. Um, it's a whole session on interviews, but let me try and summarize it. There are several forms of interviews, okay? The one that you go and meet a panel is called a competency-based interview, where you are asked questions and you answer. But even before then, there can be online assessments that you have to do. And based on the pass mark, you might be invited for the interview. Aside that, you can be asked to do a case study. So you'll be presented with a case and asked to analyze and then give your submission. You can be asked to come and do a presentation. But for young graduates, one of the common ones that you would face is what I call the assessment center, where they are combining all the various forms of interviews in a day. So in the day, you do a group activity, you do an individual activity, you do interviews, you do presentations, you even be asked to go for lunch with some of the leaders, where you be assessed on how you use your cutlery and your manners, how you smile, how you chew, your table manners. All those things are being assessed. And sometimes it's deliberate that they keep you sitting for a long time without any activity, just observing how you're going to handle yourself. Whether you're going to sit still there or you're going to connect with the other candidates. Because remember, I spoke about collaboration and teamwork, the dynamics, and they want to see the consistency of how you present yourself throughout the day. So for young graduates, assessment center is very common, where you go through series of activities before you are selected. So yes, it's true. Some of it is subtle, you are not told. But what I want to encourage you to do is that when you are invited for an interview, reach out and ask specific questions. What form of interview am I coming for? What do I need to come with? What should I be prepared for? In some organizations, when they invite you for an interview, they add a candidate pack, which outlines all the steps you have to go through to get the job, assuming you are successful. In some organizations, do not say anything until you ask. Okay, so if you are invited for an interview, please go back to the recruiter and ask, what kind of interview am I coming for? What do I need to come with? How do I need to present myself? Ask all those questions and prepare yourself ahead of time before you go. Georgina, I hope this helps.
Okay, I think Georgina has been muted, if I'm correct.
I'm here. Please, thank you very much. It really helped.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you too. Okay, so the next question is, please, is there any chance participants, okay, that will be addressed later on. In terms of building a brand for yourself, does it depend on only character, or does your appearance impact how people and recruiters view you? Madam Annor.
So brand is everything. Your look and feel, your brand is everything. So if Barbara walks in, Barbara should be known for both the looks, she's well dressed. If you are not well dressed, it becomes your brand. Barbara is known as the one who doesn't dress well. So if they see you coming, they know this is Barbara, this is how she is. When we're in university, there was a lady who always wears kambu. She's called Ajwa Kambu. No matter what she's wearing, she must wear kambu. That is her brand. So brand is not just the behavior, it's the look and feel. Everything about you speaks volume. So for instance, if I take somebody like Pastor Mensa Otabo, which we all know, when you look at him, what do you see? I see him to be a very good teacher. He's able to break down the Bible to the level where people can appreciate and understand. So when I look at him, I see a leader. The leader is the look and feel. He's somebody I would want to follow. And then what does he offer? What does he bring to the table? He's a teacher. He teaches the word of God. He has that charisma, that command, that when he speaks, people would want to listen. So that is his brand. So the brand is not just the behavior, it's the look and feel. How you look and how people feel you, how people experience you. So if you want to be followed, or you want to have a brand that attracts people, definitely you must look the part as well. All you need to define is what kind of thing I want to wear. Some people build their brand and say, as for me, it's only African wears that I put on. I don't wear foreign suits and stuff. That is the person's brand. And they wear it immaculately. You see them and it attracts you to them. So you need to define the brand you want to build for yourself and let it involve both the look and the feel. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful. The look and the feel. Okay, so from Christopher Bless, he says, in a situation where you know you have multiple talents or skills, for example, artwork and analytical skills, and you want or wish to focus and develop just one of these two, what will be your advice to such a person, madam?
Thank you. What I'll say is, please, if you are good at 3-4 things, don't throw them away. Let me give you an example. In the bank, we have people who have brilliant voices, but their job is more driving sales or selling, okay? But because the bank is a fun place to work, we do engagement activities, and there are times we do competitions, and we say we are doing a singing competition. And this is where you realize that people have other talents. So for instance, if we have a group CEO visiting, such a person can be invited to sing a lovely song. What this creates for that person is that apart from selling, he's also known to have this talent where it is creating visibility for them. So people in other departments who don't know him or her are now beginning to see him or her because of that additional talent that they have. So please, if you are good at analytics and you also have the gift of artwork, please, and whatever. Some people play the organ very well. Some people do other things that we are not aware. Some people DJ for extra money. Some people do decor for people pay for. Things like this. Sometimes there are occasions in the bank where we are running activities. Put your hand up and say, I can do this as well, and showcase that talent as well. And we encourage that a lot. In ABSA, we drive what we call the entrepreneurial spirit, where we want you to also bring your authentic self, the other skills you have to bear. Apart from the book knowledge, you also have some skills that you can harness or share. Some people are good at emceeing programs. We utilize that. Okay, so if you are good at 3-4 skills, please don't shy away from any of them. Continue to develop them, continue to build them and leverage on them. And they will give you visibility and they'll drive you places. Okay, so please don't suppress any of them. Hone all of them. Thank you.
Thank you too. So her advice to us is to hone all of them. Okay, I can see some hands up. I'll take Persia Abuaje, then Elom will follow. Then I'll read the question in the chat box.
Thank you very much. Good evening once again. Madam Barbara, reading through your profile, I realized that you have experience in different industries, not just one industry. Please, I'd like to know how it was for you transitioning from industry to industry, but you still turned out to be successful.
Persia, thank you very much for the question. It will interest you to know that apart from my first job, which was the consultant, So the story behind it is that as I transitioned from the United Kingdom to Ghana, settling down, I had started family and all, so I didn't go right into work. When I was ready to go into work, I wasn't getting a job. So I had to search and search until I got this consulting job. And for me, everything I find, I do it to the best of my ability. I gave it my all. Okay. And in doing that, somebody identified me. So after the consulting job, every other job I've got, I didn't go looking for. I'm there and then I'll be called. Oh, we would love to meet you over drinks just to have a discussion. And then you go and in the discussion, it's okay, would like to offer you this. All the roles I've moved into, I was approached. I didn't go looking for. So it's as I said, build a brand for yourself and be known for something. That is how you attract the best. And I think that is what has worked for me. People approach me because they feel I have something that they need. And because of that, they offer me an opportunity. And it's always been a level up. All the roles I've moved in, it's been a level up, a bigger challenge. And therefore, I've also embraced it. So that is how I ended up moving from FMCG into telco. And now I find myself in the financial institution. And who knows what's next? So I believe that whatever you find doing, give it your best and build a brand for yourself. What that means is that do it so well, have a mastery over it. So once you have that mastery over it, people will be chasing that resource. And for me, I'm always challenging myself to do something new. Every year, I'm looking for something new to add on. So going into the banking industry, I've added on things that didn't exist. And I won't be surprised if others would also want me to come and do same for them. So that is how I have been able to position myself, and it has helped me to move from industry to industry. And that has really enriched my experience, okay? Working in different industries, you can pick best practice, things that don't pertain in a certain industry and take it to another industry and change the dynamics and add value. For others, they've only known one organization, that's all they know. And because they don't read around, they don't continuously learn, they are still, they don't have ideas and they are not able to innovate. And then you come in with fresh ideas because you have experienced it elsewhere, and it makes it better for you to add value to the organization. And that is how I've grown, Persia. I hope that helps.
Okay, I think that really helps the growth mindset.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll take Elom Amevo. Your question, please. Elom. Your hand was up.
Mom's hand is not up anymore, so I can move on.
Okay, so there's a question in the chat box. Let me go there. All right, from Georgina Obing. Please, is it true that most companies retain NSSS personnel? If so, how can you ensure this when you find yourself in a reputable company during NSS?
It's a difficult one. I cannot speak for other organizations, but most of the time in the past, that used to be the case, that national service is a route to entering an organization, okay? So remember when I was doing the presentation, I spoke about entry-level roles. So entry-level roles include internship, national service, and graduate programs. These are all channels through which you can enter an organization, because at that level, not much is demanded of you. It's about doing the basics, okay? But currently, it's difficult to say that most organizations retain a national service personnel because COVID changed a lot of things. At a point, organizations were not even taking national service people, okay, because of COVID. Now I think it's coming back. National service is, but There are no guarantees. And normally when you are retained, it's mostly on a contract basis until there are opportunities for entry-level roles, and then you are hired. So I cannot say for 100% that most organizations retain their national service personnel. Some people use the national service personnel as a channel of getting entry-level people into their organization, new blood injected into the organization through national service. But currently, I cannot say that is the case. Unfortunately, I cannot speak for all organizations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, madam.
Sorry, Davis. I think her second question was, how can you ensure this when you find yourself in a reputable organization? So, okay, so let's say that they don't even
Right.
retain you after national service. But the moment you get in, my advice would be that work as if you already work there. Don't see yourself as a national service person. The moment you step foot there and you realize that this is an organization you would love to work with, please give it your very best. See yourself as one of the employees there and give it your, distinguish yourself. And I've spoken a lot about the things you can do to do that. Give it your very best. Be inquisitive, be asking questions, um, um, go the extra mile. And that's not to say just stay late for staying late, but stay late by working on something. Okay, go the extra mile to add value. See yourself as an employee. Give it your very best. When we were doing national service, we just go and have fun and come because we thought, this is a free pay. You go and then they'll give you some allowance. We were happy. But now, when you look at how competitive the job market is, any opportunity you get, you must put your best foot forward. So go sniffing for problems because leaders are looking for people who are solution oriented. So where you see there's a gap, you see that today the receptionist didn't come. Can you double hat and help there? You see that today somebody didn't come to work. Can you go and help with their job? Make yourself very useful and make an impact. That is how you leave an imprint. So even if they are not retaining, they can single you out and say, oh, we want to extend your stay because of ABCD. So from day one, when you get in, please give it your very best. Ask questions, find out where the problems are, and help find solutions as well. When there are projects, put your hand up, be part of it. Learn. You are young. This is the time to make all the mistakes and learn. We wish we had such opportunities. Then we would have been flying by now. So please, once you find yourself there, whether they are retaining or not, you give it your best shot. And God's hand will be on you that you'll be singled out and be retained.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Georgina Obeng.
Okay, so Madam, thank you. But when you mentioned about the contract staff thing, it reminded me of something, and I wanted to know, how do you transition from being a contract staff to being permanent, or even how do you apply to be a permanent staff? Like, because I know at most of the banks they have more contract staff than permanent, and you are never sure if you are part of the contract. You are never sure of how long you might stay at the company. So, please, I want to know how that works.
Okay, so I think when I was answering the previous caller around the National Service Scheme, I was saying that currently the entry level roles, they would normally use either National Service personnel or hire you on a different contract, okay? Whether it's fixed term, whether it's short term, whether it's whatever, there are different contracts. And now there are several employment contracts that are coming because of the future of work, where I mentioned to you that over 91% of people said they want to work freelance. There's something you call the gig economy. These are people who don't want to be tied down 8 to 5. They want to work on their own flexible arrangements. So there are different kinds of contracts available. There might be 1-year contract, there might be 5-year contracts, there might be permanent contracts, there might be 6 months fixed term contract, there might be project-based contracts, several contracts available based on the kind of world we are finding ourselves now, where people want to be agile, people don't want to be tied down. The organizations are also being flexible around their employment contracts. However, yes, for entry-level roles, you normally will start with fixed-term contracts where it's 6 months renewable, okay? But whether it's fixed-term or it's full-term, it's like the benefits are almost the same. The only differentiator is that yours has a duration which might be a short term, and the person who has a full-time employment is there permanently. But remember, today I've told you that there's no job for life. The one who is on the permanent contract, full-time contract, can be curtailed at any point in time. Same as the one on the contract, a fixed-term contract. So yes, we hire a lot of fixed-term contracts, but it's to do specific jobs for a period. So for you to get into, say, a permanent long-term employment, that is where you can come in through either national service, the entry-level roles, or the graduate programs that banks or organizations run. Those ones are more full-time, long-term. But as I said, currently there's nothing like job for life. I am sitting here today, tomorrow I can go to work and I can be told that your role is being cut off, and you either have to find something else to do within the bank, or we have to let you go. So don't be deceived about the kind of contract. It's creating the environment to accommodate different kinds of people to work with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you too. Okay, I saw another hand up, but if there are any other questions, kindly put your question on the chat box or shoot your hand up so that they will be addressed. Okay. In the absence of any other question, or I should wait for a bit.
David, somebody says, please, could I ask a question in relation to ABSA Bank?
Yes, I told the person directly that if it's in relation to what we are talking about, the person should feel Zerubbabel. The person should feel free to do so. Hello, Zerubbabel.
Probably he doesn't know how to unmute himself.
Okay.
Hello. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, please, you can.
Okay. Please, with relation with the adaptability with the workplace. Sometimes you go to maybe for internship or something, or maybe you are working there, but you realize that you are not conversant with the culture. But because of work and the income that you want, you have to just pretend and work anyhow. How are you going to help me out about this thing? Is it either I should stop or I should just because there is no work, I have to just work anyhow like that? Hello.
David, it wasn't clear. If you can summarize what he asked, I'll be happy. I didn't get it.
Okay, let me try and do that. So he's asking, since there are fewer jobs in the system, should he work more? Should I say, putting more of his effort into it, or he should work anyhow? That's the summary of what I got from all he was saying.
Wow. work anyhow or put your all into it. The first question you need to ask yourself is this the ideal job that you aim for, or this is like your short-term stopgap to say, I want a job, so I've gotten a job? If that is the answer, then as I always say, give your best at whatever you find your hands doing, because that might be the opportunity that might open other opportunities for you. Don't ever do any work haphazardly. Whether you're a cleaner, you're a receptionist, you're a security man, please give it your very best. Distinguish yourself. Always distinguish yourself wherever you find yourself. So if this job, you are not enjoying it, yet deliver top-notch service. Unless, of course, you yourself don't understand what you need to do to deliver. In that case, please ask for help. Speak to somebody who knows the job to help you so that you understand it well and give off your best until you find that ideal job you are looking for, which is like the long term. And you can't just be there with a short term, hoping that the long term will come. You have to put measures in place to get to that long term dream of the ideal job. And that's where I said that you might have to employ the services of a coach or a mentor to help you walk down that lane, to deal with the situation where you find yourself that what you're doing, you don't love it, but because you're looking for a job, you're doing it. There are people who can coach you, support you, and you'll be able to manage the situation until you find something more fulfilling. Zerubbabel, I hope this helps.
Okay, so thank you very much, madam. We'll take our last question from Secom, if I got the name right. Christopher.
Okay. Please, I just wanted to clarify the question Zerubbabel asked, but Madam Barbara has answered around that portion. So his question was around where you have to adapt to a company's culture, and that isn't the culture you were brought up with. Like where I think Madam was talking of maybe me being a Christian and working in a company that produces alcohol. So he was asking whether he should continue and work just like that, or he should stop the work. That was his question, and I wanted to clarify it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Philip, for bringing that up. I think work culture is very key. And as I said, you can pretend all you want, but your true colors will show. So if you are in an environment, in a culture that is conflicting with your principles, please, you are better off walking away, because it will show eventually. Your work will suffer. You yourself will suffer. You become stressed because you are conflicting your emotions, your natural self with the real world. And it will be a strain on you. You find yourself daydreaming, walking and daydreaming because you are stressed. So please, if it's about the culture which is conflicting with your principles and is not helping you, in as much as you wanted a job and you took it, you realize that you are suffering in silence. If you are not careful, it will lead to depression and other complex issues. So please, if the culture is not right for you, move out. I understand you to say there's no job, so you want to endure it. But in enduring, you use all your money to now go to hospital. So please, you are better off being sane without a job than being insane with a job. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you very much, Christopher, for the clarification. And thank you, Madam Barbara, for your wonderful inputs. So we would have our president and founder, Mr. Joshua Mensah, to come and give his final remarks.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you very much, Madam Barbara. I'm so happy and I for us to listen to you. Hello. Yeah, so
Yes.
thank you very much, Madam Barbara. And I feel like I should have listened to Madam Barbara 2004 when I started working in the bank. And I think that I'll be blessed with all these messages. I was just listening and say, wow, how who are here. We have over 350 people on the platform who registered, and those who have missed, I think they miss a lot. This is one of the programs that personally I have learned a lot, and I believe we are going to promote it on YouTube, and I believe that everybody here have learned a lot. This is more practical. Okay, so the Talent Finance Bank is a project that's been done to help the youth develop themselves, prepare them for the world of work. And Madam Barbara have done justice to this particular work. We are so grateful. So on behalf of Young Investor Network, that have been in existence for more than 10 years, we've influenced over 100,000 students in financial literacy education. Our main partners are the Ghana Stock Exchange, Securities Strategic Commission, and other organizations supported. So we are so happy to have Madam Barbara on board to take our students through these particular programs. I believe that we have some awards to be given out to some people. We will discuss it on the page. Thank you very much, Madam Barbara. We are so grateful. And on behalf of the Executive Director, Mr. Kofi Chibuzia, and all our Youth Advisory Board who are here, the Young Investor Advisory Board who are here, who have really done well. We say thank you. God bless you, Madam Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mensah, for such a wonderful all too soon. Our entire series hasn't ended. We say to get updates about what's happening next or what is to come. Regards goes to our Executive Director, Kofi Buzia, and Mr. Joshua Mensah, and my fellow advisory board members who are connected. I happen to be Davis Delali Atisu, Vice President for the Students Advisory Board. Thank you so much for making it. So I'll give the closing prayer. A minute. Let me have one of you give us the closing prayer, then we close for today. If Georgina or Ben could give us the closing prayer, I'll be grateful. Hello, Georgina.
I'm not sure she's available online, so you can give it to us.
Okay.
Hello.
Let me. All right. Georgina.
Please, I didn't hear. There was a connection problem.
I said if you could kindly give us the closing prayer.
Okay,
I would be grateful.
Okay,
Yes,
no problem.
please.
We pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father Lord, we are so grateful for this program, for this meeting. Thank you for bringing our guest speaker to speak with us and to impart knowledge onto us. I pray that all that we have learned, we'll use it very well, very wisely. We'll use it to improve ourselves, our lives, so that we can get what our goals have been set to. In Jesus' name have I prayed. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you too. Thank you all for joining once again. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful weekend.